Imagine creating one of the most visually aesthetic, stylized, and fluid action cartoons only to let it fade after 2 seasons. That's exactly what Disney did with Randy Cunningham, Ninth Grade Ninja, a show that had all these different people working together to deliver a stunning, action-packed comedy to the masses, whilst also delivering a story of a kid who has to shoulder this responsibility of protecting his town from evil. This is the rise and fall of Randy Cunningham, Ninth Grade Ninja. Picture this. It's August 13th, 2012, and you tune into Disney XD only to catch a preview of a new show, Randy Cunningham, Ninth Grade Ninja. At first, it's just another Disney XD show, until the art, the animation, and the hype hits you. Randy Cunningham, Ninth Grade Ninja is an animated television series about a high school freshman named Randy Cunningham who secretly becomes a ninja and is tasked with protecting his school and the world from various threats. He battles villains, both human and monstrous, while balancing his normal high school life and keeping his ninja identity a secret. The series is set in Norrisville, a town protected by a ninja for 800 years, and every 4 years a new candidate is chosen to be the ninja. The ninja must face off against the sorcerer who has the power of turning people into monsters using stank. Yes, stank. At first glance, you could tell that this was going to be a banger. But here's the thing. It wasn't always like this. You see, the show didn't just come out ninjaing with flashy animation and jokes. It actually started off very differently. According to Jordan Fringe, the original concept by creators Jed Elinoff and Scott Thomas was actually about, wait for it, a vampire. Yeah, Randy Cunningham, Ninth Grade Vampire. Doesn't quite hit the same. I mean, unless you were deep into Twilight back in the day, being a vampire teen probably didn't sound all that cool. But somewhere along the way, they pivoted because turning it into a superhero ninja story made sense for the audience. Still, you can kind of see some of those dark, edgy vampire vibes in the final look and tone of the show. So even though Randy's not biting necks, there's definitely some of that leftover of the idea lurking in the shadows. You see, when I used to watch shows, especially action cartoons, I used to imagine myself within the shoes of the characters. Whether that was Ben 10 with the Omnitrix, Max Steel with, well, Steel, and even Randy Cunningham with the ninja mask. The change to a ninja made perfect sense. It played into the exact fantasy kids loved, being a secret hero no one would ever suspect. Phew. Now, during its 4 years of development, Randy Cunningham went through quite a few changes. And interestingly, just over a year ago, on April 2024, the original pilot actually leaked on 4chan. And yeah, the differences are pretty big. Like not just a few tweaks here and there. I'm talking full-on drastic changes to how the show looked and felt, just like some other pilots from other shows. Now, jumping into the pilot, there are two big things that stand out right away. Randy himself and the art style. Randy's design is way different here. He kind of looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, which is definitely a far cry from the ninja we ended up with. And on top of that, he doesn't even sound the same.
You're gonna need it. Time to get my ninja on. Howard, it's time to get my ninja on.
Ben Schwartz wasn't voicing him yet, though funnily enough, most of the other voice actors from the pilot did carry over into the final show. Now let's talk about the art style in the pilot, because yeah, it's a big shift from what we ended up getting in the final show. This was before Disney bought in Jonan Vasquez, the creator of Invader Zim, to help with the character designs. Once he stepped in and designed the main characters, the other artists followed his lead. And that's when the show's signature style really took shape. But in the pilot, the look is totally different. It kind of gives off a Kim Possible feel, just with way more muted colors. Nothing really pops. It feels softer and flatter like a kid's storybook or something. And as you watch the pilot, Randy's attire and problems seem familiar. His design kind of leans into spectacular Spider-Man territory. Same casual t-shirt, similar build. They even rock almost the same outfit. The similarities actually line up with the story of the pilot too. This version of Randy is already dealing with that classic double life stuff, juggling being the ninja to keeping it a secret and a love problem. But before we break down all the changes, let's actually take a look at the whole pilot, because seeing all of it really gives you a better idea of how different things were early on. So the pilot kicks off with a quick montage of past ninjas and a short intro, then drops us straight into a pretty typical day at school. Randy's in the bathroom when he hears Bucky Hensletter, you know, the triangle kid, but he's currently the clarinet kid, getting bullied. He suits up and shows up just in time to take down Bash Johnson, the school bully, and his friends. This fight lasts for a good while, showing a bunch of ninja action and heroism. Right after that, Heidi, who's clearly being set up as Randy's love interest, asks the ninja to homecoming. He kind of panics and smoke bombs out. Heidi takes that as a maybe, We then meet Randy and Howard at an arcade called Teen World, later known as Greg's Game Hole. Randy and Howard have a conversation about Randy's love life. We then pan into the villains. The Judge, Viceroy, and Kransky talking about the ninja and their many defeats to him. They struggle to plot an attack on the ninja whilst their funds are being depleted at the same time by the hero, foiling their plots. We then go back to Teen World where Howard convinces Randy to break the rules through the free nachos demonstration. Later, during cheer practice, he shows up again, and this time he actually agrees to go with her before he crashes through the exit. Randy talks to Howard about it, who reminds him that dating as the ninja breaks the rules, which is ironic because Howard kind of encouraged breaking the rules in the first place. Meanwhile, at a salon, the judge hears about the ninja going to the dance and starts hatching a plan. On the night of homecoming, Randy's waiting for Heidi, but she never shows. Turns out she's been kidnapped by the villains and tied to the goalpost as bait. Then they roll out this huge robot dinosaur called the Tyrannobot. Randy panics, checks the Nomicon, finds nothing, but during the battle he eventually spots the robot's weak point. After dodging a ton of attacks, he uses his grappling hook and a soda bottle to short it out and take the thing down. He rescues Heidi, and she goes in for a kiss, but he pulls away, telling her they can't be together because of his responsibilities as the ninja. Classic superhero. He smoke bombs out, and Heidi says it smells like a fart, and the night wraps up with Randy back at the dance, alone. Howard joins him, and they have a low-key moment about how being the ninja is both a blessing and a curse. Howard gives him an encouraging speech, and Randy realizes that without him, there is no ninja and cheers up. Howard was comparing corn dogs, of course. Just as the night's winding down, Flute Girl runs in saying Bash is back at it. Randy leaves the corn dog with Howard, suits up, and the pilot ends with him back in action. Now, when you compare the pilot to the final show, a few big differences stand out. Randy himself was way more awkward and hesitant in the pilot, while the show later leaned into his overconfident and not-so-nervous vibe right from the start. Heidi was also completely different, originally a brunette head cheerleader and Randy's main crush. But in the final show, she was turned into a live streamer with orange hair, running the third most popular Me-cast, and the whole romance angle got dialed way down with Teresa Fowler being the assumed love interest. And I say assumed because we only got bits and pieces. The villains saw a big swap too. The Judge, a corrupt crime boss, was the original main antagonist, but the show replaced him with Hannibal McFist, who fit Disney XD's more comedic, over-the-top villain formula. They still are the same character in my opinion, just with a different name. We still had Viceroy, and Kransky was cut. She most definitely sounds like Marcy McFist, which then implies that they reworked her character. And we also got the Sorcerer, a completely new addition who wasn't in the pilot. He's this ancient evil trapped beneath Norrisville High, and he uses stank to turn people who are in an emotionally vulnerable state into monsters. It adds a sense of fantasy to the story. His whole vibe is chaos and corruption, and he ends up being the ninja's true nemesis across the series. Even the town changed from Macchio Falls to Norrisville, trading a Karate Kid reference for a Chuck Norris one. And then there's the ninja suit and Nomicon. In the pilot, the suit was just plain black with red accents, no magic powers, no scarf. Nothing like the slick, comic book-inspired look we got later. The Nomicon was just a regular handbook too. No floating pages, no riddles, no cryptic ninja wisdom. Tonal-wise, the pilot also wasn't afraid to have Randy dealing with school bullies head-on, while the series shifted focus to weird monsters and outlandish villains. Perhaps a Disney move to keep it light for younger viewers. By the time it hit Disney XD, the show had been reworked, cleaned up, and repackaged to fit the network's vision. Now, I gotta be honest, the show did get some respect during development because one thing Randy Cunningham, 9th grade ninja, doesn't get enough credit for, outside of its art style, animation, and numerous games, is the voice acting. The cast was surprisingly stacked. Ben Schwartz voices Randy, and you might know him better as Sonic from the Sonic the Hedgehog movies or as Shapesmith in Invincible. Andrew Caldwell voices Howard, and he's appeared in Henry Danger and even had a small role in Avatar, The Last Airbender, as well as other stuff. And it doesn't stop with just the main duo. The supporting cast is full of legends. John DiMaggio plays Hannibal McFist, Kevin Michael Richardson plays Viceroy, Jim Rash voices Principal Slimovitz, and Tim Curry voices the Sorcerer. Now that's a Bruce lineup. Plus, the show managed to pull in some cool guest stars for one-off roles like villains and other side characters. So on September 17th, 2012, Disney officially dropped Season 1 of Randy Cunningham, 9th Grade Ninja. The season ran for 26 full-length episodes, which breaks down into 52 11-minute segments, and the ratings were actually solid. We got some standout episodes early on, like Ninja Camp, which introduced the ninja of 1985. That dude later becomes a recurring character, and his past actions literally come back to bite Randy. In the very next episode, like no joke, it picks up right after. The show received 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the majority of the audience who have seen the show really enjoyed it. Now sure, the show doesn't have a big, overarching story like Adventure Time or Troll Hunters, and focuses more on silly jokes, but the events of some episodes do matter. Stuff carries over, characters change, and actions have consequences. We also got awesome episodes like Evil Spirit Week, where Howard straight up gets possessed by a demon bird. Then there's Raiders of the Lost Nomicon, and even a cool twist episode where we see what would happen if Howard was the ninja. But my personal favorite, it's Randy Cunningham, 13th Century Ninja. In this one, Randy and Howard accidentally time travel and end up in the past, where they meet the very first ninja and help him to defeat the sorcerer. It's a great lore episode. Here we learn that the Ninjanomicon, the ancient book Randy gets advice from, has its teachings erased because the first ninja and the ninjas yet to come haven't written anything in it yet, as well as the sorcerer never having been trapped due to time travel shenanigans. Although the episode acts like he was trapped and was let free somehow, the Nomicon is basically a mystical guide filled with lessons from every ninja before Randy. When he opens it, he gets put in a trance, pulled into this realm where the book teaches him lessons visually, like a dream sequence but more intense. The Nomicon itself is a whole character too. It's got its own lair, it reacts to things, it has precognition, and at one point it even takes over Randy's mind. It's got serious sentient energy, and if I remember right, Randy ends up giving the future version of the Nomicon to the first ninja, which somehow appears in his bag after they return to the present, which was a simple but nice detail. Season 1 ran for 2 years. I mean, we got like 4 seasons of Ben 10 Omniverse in like a year, and that's 40 episodes compared to 26 of Randy Cunningham Season 1. Plus, these shows are action-heavy with great animation and strict designs to follow. But this could have been due to scheduling and not animation constraints, or both. But here's where things went downhill. On September 29, 2014, Disney XD premiered the second season of Randy Cunningham, 9th Grade Ninja, but something felt off. Randy and Howard's character development took a noticeable dip, so much so that longtime viewers began to tune out. Randy showed little to no growth, constantly ignoring the Ninjanomicon's guidance, despite it being right nearly every time. Meanwhile, Howard's increasingly selfish and abrasive traits made him harder to root for. As these issues piled up, the show lost momentum, and thus, the ratings started to drop. Some of the episode plots in Season 2 started to hurt the show's overall appeal. It often felt like either Randy or Howard were acting selfish and out of character. In one episode, Howard actually convinces Randy to leave the Ninjanomicon behind, just so it wouldn't get in the way of their trip. Moments like that made the characters feel less real and more like a problem. There were also some questionable moments too. And instead of having Randy constantly learn lessons and not listen, what they could have done is have Randy create new ones through his own experiences, adding his own wisdom to the Nomicon for future ninjas to follow. And on July 27, 2015, the final episode of the series aired, likely around the same time this video is going up, a decade later. After that, Disney quietly chose not to renew the show. What's interesting is that the crew didn't seem to expect it would end there. The last episode wasn't promoted as a series finale, which suggests they hadn't planned for it to be the end. This all comes from a user named Sweet Hinking on the forums. In the episode Bro Money, Bro Problems, near the end, Randy and Howard break into a rap. At one point, Randy says the line, "Season 3, H and me, gonna have to wait and see." A subtle hint that the people behind the show were still hopeful for a third season. Sadly, that renewal never came. It's definitely unfortunate, and because the show wasn't officially canceled or renewed, it's left in limbo. And the longer a show stays in that state, the less likely it is to ever return. Most of the staff and crew have since moved on to other projects. It's been 10 years after all. Thankfully, Season 2 does wrap up the main arc from Season 1. Randy defeats the sorcerer, and with that, the ninja is finally freed from his
800 years
duty. Or at least, that's how it seems. Because in the final episode, something strange happens. The creep speaks for the first and last time, saying,
"You enjoy those snacks, Ninja. Your greatest battle is just around the bend."
This line raises a big question and potential for Season 3, but who exactly is the Creep? Well, the Creep is the mysterious figure who delivers the Ninja Namicon and the Ninja Mask to each new Norrisville ninja. He's actually the oldest known character in the series, older even than the ninja's legacy itself, as hinted in the Season 1 finale. He's seen in some episodes helping out the ninja and works a whole lot of jobs. They even have bloopers at the end of the final episode pointing out the Creep. Since September 30th, 2016, a fan named Miranda F. has been running a petition calling for a third season. And sure, petitions alone don't always make a big impact, but with enough fan support, shows like this can come back. Just look at what happened with Young Justice. If people keep signing, spreading the word on social media, streaming the show, there's still a slim chance Randy Cunningham could make a comeback. Even the show's co-creator, Scott Thomas, tweeted out the petition, so it's clear he's on board. And interestingly, Ben Schwartz, the voice of Randy, is currently working on a secret project with Titmouse, the same studio behind the show. We've seen shows like Phineas and Ferb and X-Men 97 get revived, and while Randy Cunningham might not be on the same level in terms of popularity, there's still reason to hope. Randy also made an appearance on Disney's Chibi-verse called Chibi Tiny Tales. And to end off the video, Scott Thomas revealed some lore about the show nearly 10 years ago in 2015. He titled it Secrets of the Nine, which you can go check out on the wiki. Comment below if you want me to cover it, and thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.